belabor the point. All I'm going to say, be sure and give me a nice clean break. You're too large for me to be shoving up. All right, shake hands now. Make a great fight.
All set for round number 1. Schedule 4-12. It'll be Cassius Clay in the white trunks. Archie Moore, Clay 4 inches taller, 7 pounds heavier. Clay with that edge in height and reach. Clay holding his hands down dangerously. Doing a good job of covering up. Clay extremely confident and nonchalant. Overhand right grazing Clay's chin. To go in the first round. Cassius Clay in white and Archie Moore. It is almost contempt Clay is showing for Moore. He is so nonchalant. Archie Moore, who threw very few punches in that round, spent most of the time blocking Clay's punches, and he blocked a good deal of them. Let us not presume on scoring for the officials, but for sake of argument, I think we're very safe there in saying Clay won a narrow edge in the first round. That Clay did win the first round. The California scoring system, in that case, we assume Moore was the loser. He gets no points. We assume Clay was the winner. It was a fairly close round. He never really hurt Moore, so he gets 1 point. Had it been more decisive for Clay, he would have got 2 points. No points for Moore. So that's your California scoring system. No points to either fighter if a round is even. No points to the loser. And all the way from 1 up to 5, depending on the decisiveness for the winner of the round. So, for example, presuming there that Clay won it narrowly, you would have Clay in front 1-0. Round 2, scheduled for 12. Cassius Clay in white, Archie Moore. strategy to get down very low, and as a result, Clay is going high on almost all his punches. Gone, 2 to go in the second round. Remember now, Clay has boasted, and he meant it. He actually thinks he will knock out Moore in the 4th round. Seemed to hit Moore right on the back of the head. Or wobble him a little. Seconds to go in round 2. Because they think Clay is getting tired. I sort of doubt it. 10 seconds. Good right hand by Clay. Cassius Clay with trainer Angelo Dundee bending over in front of him. Norm Lockwood in the white shirt now ducking down out of range, and Duke Holloway leading through the ropes. Clay showing absolutely no respect or awe for the man who has knocked out more fighters than anyone in history. Archie Moore, of his 187 career wins against 25 losses and 7 draws, Moore has knocked out 135 men. That is a record. Meanwhile, Clay's percentage is not too bad. 15 fights, all wins. He has knocked out 12 of those 15. Only ones who went the distance against Clay were Tommy Hunsaker, lost the decision in 6. Duke Sabadon lost the decision in 10. Alonzo Johnson lost the decision in 10. Everyone else, including 5 this year, were knocked out. Round number 3, Archie Moore in black, Cassius Clay. Clay has been doing all the throwing so far, Moore most of the blocking. A few have got in. Remember now, Clay has said he will knock out Moore in 4. Good left high on the head by Moore, followed by a right, but Clay does not even appear fazed by the punches. Notice one thing about Clay, his hands appear so fast, he can throw a punch and miss it and still wave the arm back and block Moore's next punch before it gets in with the same hand he had missed with. Corner, and Cassius holds on. groggy, and Clay very cool, waiting for his spot. Cool for a 20-year-old. In fact, some ringsiders are wondering if Clay is actually backing off to wait for the 4th round to make his prediction come true. 10 seconds to go, and Moore is going to last the 3rd round. Archie Moore standing up. Trainer Dick Sadler there with his back to you. Arch puts his glove around Sadler's shoulder, and he was groggy in that round. Referee Tommy Hart comes over. Hiawatha Gray with the spectacles, bending through the ropes on the right. Been with Archie for many, many years. So Archie apparently pulling some psychology here. He's going to show the young fella he can still stay on his feet and stay there between rounds. But here's the part, and we mentioned it several times before because we thought this would be the dramatic part of the fight. Cassius Clay has said, and he has been right in 8 of his 10 knockouts before tonight, he would knock out Moore in the 4th round. This is the 4th round. Clay has said it so often, Moore is quite aware that this is the 4th too, and he's backing off a bit. Totters even under light punches. He is wobbling. Cassius anxious. He wants that prediction. Archie beat the count. Tommy Hart pushes Clay off. 2 knockdowns in the round. And it's all over. Tommy Hart stops the bout. Cassius Clay has done it again in about 1 minute and 30 seconds of the 4th round.
So, good luck.
And here we go with a scheduled 10-round bout. The second-ranked heavyweight on the left in white trunks, Cassius Clay. In the black trunks, waiting to come out, Doug Jones, who is ranked 3rd. 14.5 pounds lighter, Jones in black. Cassius Clay is 3 inches taller. He's in the white trunks, 6 feet 3. Watch his speedy left hand. He's got a beauty. And don't forget, should this bout end in a knockout, we'll have a videotaped rerun of the round. You just saw one of Clay's habits, pulling away from punches instead of trying to slip them. This may cause him trouble. Jones in black, 188. Clay, 202.5, and there it is! A good solid punch. And just as we mentioned, pulling away from punches. We've got about 2 minutes to go in round one. Minute and 45 seconds, round one. A good left hook by Clay. About a minute to go. Round one. Forty-five seconds. There's that beautiful left jab by Cassius Clay. A glancing right hand. Ten seconds left in round one. Cassius Clay was definitely shaken up by a shot that caught him as he was backing away from a punch instead of trying to slip it, as we pointed out. He's talking to his trainer, Angelo Dundee. Jimmy Wild is on the outside of the ropes. Chicky Ferrara is to the right of Dundee. Clay, in marvelous condition at 202.5 pounds, is fighting a very determined Doug Jones. Jones caught one left hook that was Clay's big punch of round one. Jones has been knocked down previously. He is just off a 7th-round knockout victory over Zora Foley. He's a boy that can take it. He's never been stopped, and the same is true of undefeated Clay. We get ready now for round two. Nearly 19,000 looking on at Madison Square Garden. Hope you're enjoying it. It's unusual for Clay to have as his only defense backing away from punches. Two minutes to go, round two. These are heavyweights punching with the speed of lightweights. About a minute to go in round two. Neither fighter is cut. Clay has never been cut in his boxing career. Jones several times. Seconds left in round 2. The bell in 10 seconds. This is Chris Schenkel at ringside, Madison Square Garden, as we look at Doug Jones, born right here in New York City 26 years ago. And as you see, he is most certainly an orthodox fighter, very even-tempered, quiet, plods along, as you have seen, and he knows of Cassius Clay's one glaring fault, and consequently has been using that left hook off a jab. This is a boy that knows how to carry the fight to his opponent, and that's what he's been doing. His opponent, Cassius Clay, as we await the start of round 3, doesn't seem any the worse for a heavy punch that he took in the first round. He is off a third-round knockout over Charlie Powell. He has knocked out his last 9 opponents, most by prophesying the round. Tonight he has predicted round 4. Here's the third round of a Schedule 10. Cassius Clay, the favorite, despite the more experience of Doug Jones. Two minutes left. Round 3. Clay now really using that left hand to advantage, keeping Jones off balance. Glancing punches, some picked off by Jones. Minutes ago in the third round. Good 1-2 by Clay. 45 seconds left in the round. Seconds. The bell in 10 seconds. Patsy Bear. He's the man that has sold out Madison Square Garden. In fact, there are 598 more people here tonight than there were at the last sellout in 1957 when Sugar Ray Robinson fought Gene Fullmer. It's the first time in the history of this sports palace that the fight has been sold out prior to the day of it. A man who has captured the imagination of everybody across the country. People from all walks of life here at the Garden tonight. Lauren Bacall, John Daly, Mrs. Bob Hope, Jason Robards, Toots Short, all sorts of folks who are eating up the action. We hope you are too. This is the 4th round at the Garden. Clay in white originally predicted a knockout in 6, but then he decided to cut it down to 4. This is the 4th round. No knockdowns. Neither fighter is marked. About 2 minutes to go in round 4. To go in round 4, and as you can see, Jones is going to be a tough one to knock out in any round. Clay appearing a little tired right now after the volley punching, with 45 seconds to go in the round. Thirty seconds. Seconds to go. Fans are probably booing about the prediction. 10 seconds. Doug Jones' attack thus far has been forward, as you've noticed. He's been trained that way against a backing up Clay. We have a minute and a half remaining in the 5th round. No cuts, no knockdowns. Good right-hand shot by Clay. We have 1 minute left in round 5. A solid right by Jones. Seconds to go. They're both tiring here in the 5th. Seconds. With all the headhunting, it's amazing that one of the fighters is not cut. Unmarked, both of them. Here at the Garden. Tremendous body punch by Jones. Minute and a half. You saw that punch a little low. Clay bending over to cover up. Less than 1 minute, round 6. Seconds. Joe Lascalzo refereeing. They'll get a 1 minute rest in 10 seconds. Jones, managed by Alex Coxkowitz, is a fighter that started in the Golden Gloves like Clay, lost in the semifinals for an Olympic berth in 1956. Went on to win an Air Force championship and has a record of only 3 losses in 25 fights. Now here is Cassius Clay, fighting tonight in a state that practically outlawed boxing 2 weeks ago. And here you have a standing room crowd only at Madison Square Garden, which is credit to this 21-year-older and of a dozen leaders of Kentucky industry, led by Bill Faversham, who is the manager of record. They have done a tremendous job handling a very likable young heavyweight at 202 and a half tonight. Jones, 188. Round 7. Jones in black, no puffiness around his eyes after having taken all those jabs. Clay is unmarked. Misses. 2 minutes to go. You see the 7th round there on your screen. Schedule 10. By the way, these are 8-ounce gloves. And a half. One minute left in the 7th. One of the few times that Clay has grabbed on to catch his breath. Clay and White has gone 10 rounds twice in his career. Jones in the black trunks once went 15 rounds in a light heavyweight title bout with Harold Johnson. 10 seconds. Here at Madison Square Garden, there are 18,732 fans, a gate of 104,943, and our closed circuit television covering about 39 cities around the country, 2 pay television locations, community antenna systems. We're awfully proud of that, and of course, awfully pleased with the great work done by Bill King of Louisville, Kentucky, who staged and promoted the first professional bout that this young man was in, Cassius Clay. Here is Doug Jones, who has 13 knockouts to his credit in 25 fights, while Clay has 14 in an undefeated slate. Jones would appear to have the edge now, even though he went into the fight as the underdog. He seems to be a boy of great stamina, and he has proven that he has ample durability and determination as we go into round 8 at the Garden. Ken White, as you've seen, has thrown many punches, many combinations, most of which have been ill-timed, having little effect. Good facial defense by Jones, though. Look at the difference. Clay with his hands low, Jones keeping them up for protection and in hitting position. We're in round 8 of a 10-round fight, scheduled for 10 with 2 minutes to go in the 8th round. Both fighters were very much interested to know that Sonny Liston and Floyd Patterson were watching this bout. To do a lot of work. We have 1 minute to go in the 8th round. Trouble. Seconds to go. Seconds. Clay momentarily shaken up, but seems to be in top condition and is warding it off. Ladies and gentlemen, the Boxing Education and Research Foundation is engaged in a program aimed at the establishment of a retirement plan for boxers. This non-profit voluntary organization already has obtained the cooperation of boxing promoters throughout the country. More help is needed, and we appeal to you as fight fans to add your support to this worthwhile cause. No salaries are paid any officials of the Boxing Education and Research Foundation, but there is a need for funds to further its current study, which will lead to a retirement fund for fighters. Send your contributions to Commissioner Harry W. Falk, Post Office Box 540, Ukiah, California, spelled U-K-I-A-H. Box 540, Ukiah, California, to Commissioner Harry W. Falk. Now we get set for round 9 of the Schedule 10. Cassius Clay, little arm weary now. Taking every punch, Jones rather, is taking every punch that Clay has thrown. Some on the button, too. Two minutes left in the 9th round. Jones looks bruised around his left eye. Jones in the dark trunks. A minute left. Round 9. Seconds. Clay obviously trying for a knockout. Ten seconds of much needed rest. Battle. Hope you're enjoying it, wherever you may be. Jimmy August, Alex Koskowitz, and Rolly Hackmer are working on a durable Doug Jones. We've been very impressed with his great defense. Cassius Clay getting the full treatment here before the start of the final round to freshen him up. He shot the works in the 9th round, trying for a knockout. Artie Idella, Frank Forbes are the 2 judges. Joe Loscalzo is the referee. The 10th round coming up. Possibility of a decision or even a draw. Well, let's see what happens as we go into the final stages. Jones. Jones is a little rubbery-legged. He's taken a lot of good shots to the head. We have 1 minute and 40 seconds left in the fight. 1:40 to go. The 5-point must system is in effect here in the event of a draw. And then only will it help in the determination. The rounds are even, then they use the point system. And that could happen here. We have 1 minute to go in the bout. Beautiful finish. Seconds. 20 seconds. Seconds. Well, there's always a possibility of a draw at Madison Square Garden. The judges, Artie Idella, Frank Forbes, Idella on the near side of the ring, Forbes on the opposite side, and of course the third man was Joe Lascalzo. Neither fighter was knocked down. Neither fighter sustained any cuts, which is great credit to a tremendous job of physical conditioning by Angelo Dundee in the case of Cassius Clay, at whom we're looking now, and Rolly Hackner, Jimmy August, manager Alex Koskowitz on the part of Doug Jones. It's been a while since we've seen a fighter that has taken as many punches and seemingly has just brushed them off like water off a duck's back. Doug Jones, who lost only 3 in 25 play, going into this bout undefeated in 17 starts. Johnny Addy now has collected the cards. First of Artie Idella, and now of Frank Forbes, and he is getting it verified by the executive inspector, Jack Duberstein, and secretary Dan Dowd, as we look at Cassius Clay, who is directly above us. Shouting to some of his fans, he put on a tremendous finishing flurry in that 10th and final round. There's Doug Jones, the 26-year-old older who grew up right here in New York City. And now for the decision, here is Johnny Addy.
Both judges, Artie Idella and Frank Forbes. They score it this way: 5-4, 1 even, favor of Clay. Referee Joe Lascalzo has it 8-1, 1 even, Clay. Winner by unanimous decision, Cassius Clay.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 5-4-1 on the part of the 2 judges at ringside, and 8-1-1.
Said, I'll beat him in 5. We'll see. A lot of people think that Cooper's big chance is to go in early with his left hook and try and nail Clay. Clay, 6'2½", Cooper 6'1½". Clay really is a fine figure of the man. All muscle. Hook, and he's going in and he's hurt Clay. Clay's hanging on and he's blinking and frowning. In the first 30 seconds, the left hook of Cooper scores quickly. And Clay's nose is bleeding in the first minute from the left hook of Cooper. First blood to Cooper. And Cooper has certainly not come out apprehensively tonight. The man who started so many fights too quietly, Cooper has come out full of fight. And now Clay is arguing with the referee that Cooper's trying to hold him and he's getting angry. And at one stage there, I thought he even poked his arm out at Mr. Tommy Little, the referee. Well, this is a sensational start to this fight. Clay has gone fighting mad. Clay showing he's not holding inside. There's blood on Cooper's left shoulder, and that comes from Clay's nose. Cooper's is right into Clay's face, and he's scoring heavily with it, and he's hurting the American. A sensational start to this fight. And Cooper right on top with half a minute to go in the first. There's the bell to end the first. And that first round has done wonders for British professional boxing. People are on their feet at the ringside now cheering Cooper. A fantastic start by the British champion. Completely overthrown all his old nervousness at the start and come out there a fighting man, Cooper. Hurt Clay in the first minute with a left hook and has done well since. Left hooks and jabs, he's drawn blood from Clay's nose. He's hurt Clay, and Clay has been forced to complain because he was very troubled indeed. Let's have a look at Clay. The great Cassius Clay, right out of his stride in the first round, angrily demonstrating with the referee in that first round that he didn't like Cooper's holding, complaining somewhat petulantly about it. This man who's never been beaten, now the crowd is starting up a fantastic roar for Cooper. This is quite the most extraordinary fight night I've ever experienced in Britain. The first 3 minutes have been extraordinary. Round two. There's Cooper. Can he beat Clay and put British professional boxing right on top of the heavyweight world? One slightly disturbing thought after that first round. Cooper hit him hard with the left hook several times, but he didn't go down or even show a sign of going down. Clay, he can take a punch. Clay trying to open up his own left jab and hook. Not much right hand punching so far. Clay now working on Cooper's face. Cooper hooking over the top of Clay's right hand. He's full of confidence, Henry. Jab beginning to get to work in the second. He's steadied up a little bit. This is Cooper's left hook against the left jab of Clay, and there's no telling at this stage which punch is going to come out on top. Right hand, the first time he's shown it. Half a minute to go in the second. And now Cooper seems to be cut slightly underneath the left eye. It's nothing serious. That left jab of Clay is beginning to get very accurate and steady into Cooper's face. And Cooper is cut, or rather grazed, underneath his left eye. It's a battle of left hands between these two. And as the bell ends the second, so Cooper's cut underneath his left eye has worsened slightly after a couple of left jabs on it from Clay. So Cooper, after 6 minutes boxing, is cut underneath the left eye. One of the things that was feared He always cuts easily, Cooper, but it's underneath the eye and not over, which means that it's not nearly as serious as it might be. Henry Cooper, the 29-year-old British champion, 27 wins in 36 fights. At one time leading challenger for the world title until 1961, when Zora Foley of Arizona knocked him out in 2 rounds. One of Cooper's bad nights. Tonight is one of his really good nights. In fact, it's his greatest night. Cooper against Clay. Let's look at Clay. Cassius Marcellus, the 1960 Olympic light heavyweight champion, the man who's been promised a fight with the winner of Liston and Patterson if he comes through this tonight. The handsome Cassius Clay coming out for round 3 after the shock of his life in the first round. The rain has stopped. The excitement has really started among the crowd here who've seen Cooper take the fight to Clay. And these 40 or 50,000 people in Wembley are all on Henry Cooper's side. Cooper's left eye patched up now, and still he hooks with that left hand. And now he's cut over the left eye. Henry Cooper is cut over the left eye, and it looks to me like a very bad cut indeed. This is tragedy for Cooper in the 3rd round, with only 40 seconds gone, and Cooper is very badly cut over the left eye. This is what we always feared about Cooper. Round 3. He's going to have a job to get through with that eye. Tommy Little's having a look at it. Cooper now fighting desperately because he knows that his time may be short. There you can see he's apprehensively feeling for it with the left hand. Cooper's got to try and finish it now if he can. Clay is unmarked. That handsome face of the American Negro, completely unmarked. Cooper trying to nail him in the 3rd if he can. There's no telling now how long he's got to go, Cooper, with that eye. A minute left in the 3rd. Clay now, look at him, he's got his arms down, he's contemptuously treating Cooper, his arms are down by his hips. Just using his feet to keep away from Cooper. This is complete cheek on the part of Clay, who feels that he's got it in the bag because of that eye. Half a minute to go in the 3rd. Clay has taken all of Cooper's punches and stood up to them. Clay hardly bothering to punch in this round now. He's just threatening and he's teasing Cooper. He's trying to make Cooper look small in the 3rd round. And Cooper's left eye is a very sorry sight indeed. It really is. It's cut above and below. Danny Holland, with the swab sticks in his mouth there, is going to have to work really hard to try and staunch the flow of blood from that eye. It really is a bad one. Mr. Little, entering up his scorecard over in a neutral corner, will probably come over and have a look at it in a minute. I'm watching for Mr. Little to make his move, but he hasn't moved yet. He's letting the corner work on it. So, after the greatest fight of his career so far, Henry Cooper under severe handicap now as he comes out for round 4 against Cassius Clay. Clay completely unmarked and looking set for victory because of this handicap to Cooper's left eye. Well, they've worked on it. Tommy Little chasing Cooper's seconds out. Round 4. Sitting down at the ringside is one of Clay's 11 managers, Bill Faversham, and he called out to Clay in the interval, cut out the funny business and get down to work. So the Clay people are not too happy with their man. He was certainly teasing Cooper in the third. This is not the way to go about things when you're a world heavyweight contender. And Cooper's eye already bleeding again in the fourth round. Above and below, 2 streams of blood. And poor Cooper keeps putting his left glove up there to that eye as though he can hardly believe his bad luck. The fourth round, and one looks for a sign that a left hook from Cooper could really hurt this man, but apart from the opening minute, he hasn't seemed to hurt Clay very much with his punches. He's put as many left hooks in as he can get, and Clay has taken them all somewhat contemptuously. And now Clay is just jabbing casually with his left hand. Dancing around on the outside of Cooper, flicking out the left hand. He only seems to be half here. His mind seems to be half away, somewhere else. He's just treating Cooper almost as a plaything here. But that's the sort of chance you can take once too often. And if Henry nails him, anything might happen. The bell has sounded, and he's up at about 3, Clay. That was the end of the fourth round, and he hit him about 2 seconds before the end of the round with a left hook. Clay took one chance too many, and he still doesn't know where he is. He's still half out, Clay. They're working furiously on him in the corner. Angelo Dundee, his trainer, he really is giving him a talking to. Cooper's left hook finally scores, and Clay was down 2 seconds from the end of the fourth round and got up just after the bell, and he doesn't know where he is. He's looking at his corner, and something extraordinary has happened, because referee Tommy Little has gone over to the timekeeper to ask something. Tommy Little has gone to Clay's corner now to talk to them, and I think Clay has got a torn glove. Oh no, it seems to be all right. And out we come for round 5. And now round 5 is the round in which Clay said he would beat Cooper, but now this crowd at Wembley are beginning to bay for a Cooper win. Clay on the floor at the end of the fourth, and now fighting to preserve his professional right here against Henry Cooper. And now Cooper's left eye is really in a shocking state. It really is now. Cooper's left eye is pouring blood. Gum shoots flying out. Henry is dripping blood. And I think Tommy Little will have to stop this, because Cooper's eye is really in an absolutely appalling state. It is the worst cut eye I've seen for a very, very long time indeed. I do not see how he can let this go much further. It's round 5. And now he's slipping in, and I think this is it. The Cooper's corner, and Tommy Little's looking at it, and he's had to stop the fight. There was no alternative. He had to stop the fight, Tommy Little. It's all over in round 5, and Clay is getting bombarded with programs from angry ringsiders. The man who was put down at the end of the 4th round, and Cooper, although he's been beaten on a cut eye, is far from disgraced.